The episode begins at the lake, where Donna and the others are discussing pulling the strange objects out of the water. One man warns Donna that they should leave them alone because they could be dangerous. Donna refuses, saying that before night falls and those things attack them, they need to find out exactly what they are. Ellis supports Donna's decision, and the group begins dragging the objects out of the lake with great effort. Once they finally pull them ashore, they discover that the objects are completely covered in grass and moss. The scene then shifts to Ethan, who is burying the dead bird. He tells his mother that he wishes this lake were the Lake of Tears, because then they might have been able to save it. Meanwhile, Jade suddenly starts feeling the effects of the mushrooms. The motel sign transforms in his vision, and instead of motel, the word answers appears, along with an arrow pointing him in a certain direction. Jade calls Boyd and tells him the mushrooms are finally working, asking Boyd to come with him so he can distinguish what is real from what is not. Moments later, Jade notices spiders crawling on the window, the same spiders Boyd once saw in the forest. At the clinic, Christy is treating Sophia's badly broken arm. She reassures her that she will fix it. Marielle goes to the ambulance to get bandages, but something terrifying happens there. As she searches for supplies, chains similar to the ones from the ruins suddenly wrap around her hands. Terrified, she hears screams and cries coming from the ambulance radio. Back at the lake, Donna's team discovers 3 strange scarecrow-like figures hidden in the grass. Donna begins cutting them apart with her knife, wanting to prevent whatever they are from attacking during the night. However, she suddenly stops and realizes that scarecrows are meant to keep things away. She suspects these figures were actually containing some evil force beneath the lake, a force that may now have been released. Everyone is left horrified by the thought. Jade suddenly vomits, and Boyd sarcastically asks whether the trees are really going to provide answers considering Jade's condition. Jade then shouts, "Show me what I used to know." Immediately afterward, Jade hears the sound of a violin. The same violin he once played for his grandmother. He then sees a young boy and realizes the child is actually himself at 12 years old. Soon after, Jade encounters a man offering him blood in a skull, urging him to drink it. The younger Jade warns him not to, explaining that drinking it will force him to relive all his painful memories. Despite the warning, Jade drinks it anyway. Around the same time, Henry becomes heavily intoxicated and starts behaving strangely. When Marielle still does not return after a long time, Christy goes to check on her. She finds Marielle trembling in fear in the corner of the ambulance. However, as soon as Marielle sees Christy, she quickly stands up and walks back inside, seemingly trying to hide her fear. The story returns to Donna's group, who are now stuffing stones into the scarecrows and preparing to throw them back into the lake. Donna believes doing this may stop something terrible from happening. Suddenly, Tabitha turns pale and says she feels as though she has seen these dolls before, though she cannot fully remember. Ellis pushes the dolls back into the water. The scene then shifts back to Jade. His younger self leads him through the forest toward Colony House, where 4 other people are playing the exact same violin melody. Young Jade tells him to remember. Suddenly, the older Jade realizes the horrifying truth. All of those people are versions of himself who died there in previous cycles. Elsewhere, Sophia is enjoying the arguments taking place between Julie and Randall. She later overhears another fight between Marielle and Christy upstairs and seems oddly entertained by it. However, when Marielle leaves the room, Sophia grabs her arm, causing Marielle to suddenly collapse emotionally. She tells Christy that she is terrified because she can feel the suffering and pain of everyone who has died in the town. Young Jade then tells his older self that if he truly wants answers, he must look carefully at the people around him. When Jade finally does, he is horrified to realize the truth. It was never the monsters who killed him. Every time he came to this town, it was always the townspeople themselves who murdered him. Jade then asks about Tabitha.
Tabitha?
For Tabitha, it's worse.
The young boy replies that her fate will be even worse. Desperate, Jade asks to be shown the way home. The child leads him into the basement of Colony House and points toward a hidden door blocked by supplies. Boyd and Jade remove the objects and open the door, revealing underground tunnels beneath the house. Boyd tells Jade to turn back, but the younger Jade continues guiding him deeper inside. Meanwhile, Donna's group sits inside a cottage when they suddenly hear someone humming outside. The sound immediately terrifies Tabitha. She says she finally remembers everything about the dolls. They once belonged to her when she was a little girl, but one day a man took them away from her and threw them into the lake. Later, those dolls returned at a gigantic size and killed that man. Tabitha urgently tells everyone they must run immediately or they will all die. Before they can escape, one of the dolls smashes through the cottage and brutally kills one of Donna's people. The others flee outside, but unfortunately another doll captures Donna. At that moment, Tabitha suddenly remembers the doll's weakness. They fear totems. She tears a totem out of the ground and drives it into the attacking doll, killing it instantly. The final scenes return to Jade inside the tunnels, where he reaches the exact place where the children were sacrificed. Suddenly, all the monsters arrive there as well. One of them casually asks Jade how he is doing before the creatures seize him together and trap him inside a massive stone coffin.
Hi, Jade.
As the lid closes, Jade sees one of the sacrificed children inside the coffin with him. Suddenly, it is revealed that all of this was part of Jade's hallucination caused by the mushrooms. Confused, Jade asks Boyd where they are, insisting they had both been in the forest. Boyd tells him that they never left their original location. Then Jade suddenly screams and tells Boyd that he finally understands everything. He now knows who the monsters truly are, how to save the children, and even how to find the way home. The episode ends there. That was the breakdown of From Season 4, Episode 5. Many incredible theories are expected to emerge from this episode. Now, that was the breakdown. But this episode gave us something we have never had before in 4 seasons of this show. Not a clue, not a hint, a confession. The town, through Jade's vision, told us exactly how it works, and nobody is putting the pieces together correctly. So here is the theory. 1 claim, 5 pieces of evidence from this episode alone, and a prediction that will either age like wine or burn like the mushrooms Jade just swallowed. Here is the claim, stated clean. The town does not trap people to kill them. The town traps people to make them kill each other. The monsters are not the weapon. The monsters are the pressure. The real killing, the killing that actually matters to the system, is always done by human hands. Jade's vision proved it. Every time he came to this place, in every cycle, in every life, it was the townspeople who murdered him, not the creatures, the people. And that changes everything, because it means every resident of Fromville is not a prisoner. They are a bullet, loaded into a gun, aimed at someone the town needs dead. And the town pulls the trigger by making them afraid enough, desperate enough, or angry enough to do it themselves. The monsters don't kill to feed, they kill to train. Every night of terror, every attack, every loss, it's not punishment, it's conditioning. The town is teaching the residents to fear, to fracture, to turn on anyone who seems different, dangerous, or too close to the truth. And when someone like Jade gets too close, when he starts hearing the children, seeing the symbols, understanding the cycle, the town doesn't send a monster to stop him. It doesn't need to. The people around him are already loaded. All it takes is one more push, and they do the town's work for free. Evidence 1. Jade saw himself die, and no monster was holding the blade. This is the single most important scene in 4 seasons of From. Jade, inside his mushroom vision, sees multiple versions of himself at Colony House. Different eras, different clothes, but all playing the same violin melody, all drawn to the same truth. And his younger self tells him to look carefully at the people around him. When Jade does, he realizes that in every cycle, it was the townspeople who killed him. Think about that. The show has spent 4 seasons telling us the monsters are the enemy, the creatures outside at night, the things with the smiles, and in one scene, it flips the entire premise. The monsters didn't kill the most important person in the cycle. The humans did. The people who were supposed to be on his side, his neighbors, his allies, the people sleeping in the same house. Why? Because every time Jade, or Christopher, or whatever version of his soul existed, started uncovering the truth, the other residents saw him as a threat. He talked to the children. He heard the music. He understood the symbols. And the town used that knowledge against him, not by sending creatures, by making the people around him afraid of what he knew, by making them believe that he was the reason the monsters were attacking, that killing him would make it stop. The town weaponized their fear and handed them the knife. Evidence 2. The scarecrow dolls were not protecting the town. They were containing the town's truth. Donna found 3 scarecrow-like figures under the lake, covered in moss and grass. She initially wanted to destroy them, but then she stopped. She realized scarecrows are meant to keep things away, and she was right, but not in the way she thought. Those dolls were not keeping monsters out of the lake. They were keeping memories down. Tabitha proved it. The moment those dolls were pulled ashore, Tabitha's buried memories began surfacing. She remembered the dolls. She remembered the man who threw them into the water. She remembered what happened when they came back. The lake was a suppression mechanism. The dolls were weights on a lid, and Donna's team just opened it. This is why the town put those dolls there, not to protect the residents from the lake, to protect the cycle from being remembered, because remembering is the one thing the town cannot survive. Ankui, the word the children keep saying. It means remember. The children have been begging someone, anyone, to remember what was done to them. And the town has spent every cycle building systems to make sure nobody does. The scarecrow dolls, the memory loss, the fear that prevents people from investigating, the violence that eliminates anyone who gets too close. Every single defense mechanism in Fromville is designed to prevent one thing, memory. Because if the residents remember, if Jade remembers, if Tabitha remembers, the cycle breaks, and whatever feeds on that cycle starves. Evidence 3. Marielle is hearing the dead, and the town is terrified of it. Marielle goes into the ambulance for bandages. Chains wrap around her hands, the same kind of chains from the ruins. The radio starts screaming, and when Sophia touches her later, Marielle breaks down and confesses. She can feel the suffering and pain of every person who has died in this town. This is new. This is not a hallucination. This is not trauma. This is a new ability that did not exist before Boyd killed Smiley. Before the contract was disrupted, before the system started breaking, Marielle is becoming a receiver. She's picking up the signal of every soul the town has consumed. Every person who died here and never left, their pain, their screams, their final moments. Marielle can hear all of it. And that makes her the most dangerous person in Fromville right now. Not because she can fight, because she can testify. If the town's entire system runs on making people forget, on burying the evidence of what happened in previous cycles, then Marielle is a living archive. She carries the testimony of every victim the town has ever silenced. She is the memory the scarecrow dolls were supposed to keep underwater. And that is why I believe the town will turn the residents against Marielle next, the same way it turned them against every version of Jade. Not with monsters, with fear, with whispers, with the suspicion that Marielle's new ability makes her the problem, that she's cursed, that she's attracting the creatures, that getting rid of her will make everyone safe. The gun is already loaded. Marielle is the next target. Evidence 4. Tabitha's memory is the key the town fears most. Tabitha remembered the dolls. She remembered they were hers. She remembered the man who threw them into the lake. And she remembered their weakness. They fear the totems. But here is the detail nobody is talking about. How did Tabitha know their weakness? She did not figure it out through logic. She did not experiment. She remembered. The knowledge was already inside her, buried under layers of the town's suppression. And the moment the scarecrow dolls surfaced, her memory surfaced with them. This proves that Tabitha, Miranda, in her previous life, knew things about this town that could unravel it. She knew how the creatures work. She knew the totem's true purpose. She knew the connection between the dolls and the children. All of that knowledge was locked inside her, waiting to be triggered. The town didn't just suppress Tabitha's memories. It weaponized the act of remembering. It turned the memories themselves into ticking bombs. When Tabitha remembers, the things she remembers come to life. The dolls didn't just appear, they attacked. As if the memory itself activated them. The town built a trap inside Tabitha's own mind. Forget, and you are safe but ignorant. Remember, and the knowledge saves you, but the act of remembering wakes up the thing that wants to kill you. It is the cruelest system imaginable. The cure and the disease are the same pill. Evidence 5, Jade's final scream, is not triumph. It's the trigger for his execution. At the end of the episode, Jade screams that he finally understands everything. He knows who the monsters truly are. He knows how to save the children. He knows how to find the way home. And if this theory is correct, that scream is the worst thing Jade could have done. Because in every previous cycle, this is the exact moment the cycle turns against him. The moment the seeker announces he has found the answer. Christopher found it, and the townspeople killed him. The version before Christopher found it, and the townspeople killed him. Every single time, the cycle repeats not because Jade fails to find the truth, but because he finds it and tells people. The town is not afraid of the truth being discovered. The town is afraid of the truth being shared, because one person knowing the answer is containable. But if that person spreads it, if Jade tells Boyd, if Boyd tells Donna, if Donna tells Colony House, then the suppression collapses and the cycle cannot reset. So the town will do what it always does. It will make the residents afraid of Jade. It will twist his knowledge into something that looks like madness. It will position him as the source of their suffering rather than the solution. And it will wait for someone, a friend, a neighbor, someone who loves him, to decide that killing Jade is the only way to survive. The executioner is already in the room. They just don't know they've been chosen yet. Here is my prediction for the rest of Season 4. Jade will try to share what he learned. He will explain the reincarnation cycle. He will reveal that the monsters were once the townspeople who sacrificed the children. He will tell them that the way home requires saving those children, not fighting the creatures. And the town will make sure that message sounds insane. It will escalate the attacks. It will increase the body count. It will make the residents desperate enough to blame the one person who is asking them to stop fighting and start remembering. Boyd will be caught in the middle, the sheriff who trusts Jade but leads a town that wants him gone. And someone, possibly someone we already love, will be the one who finally pulls the trigger. Not because they are evil, because the town spent 4 seasons turning them into a weapon, and they never knew it. The monsters are not the enemy. The monsters are the distraction. The real killing is always done by human hands. And the most horrifying part? Jade already knew this. He saw it in the vision. He watched himself die at the hands of his own people, over and over, across centuries. And he still screamed the truth out loud, because that is what the town counts on. That the seeker will always seek, that the truth teller will always tell, and that the people around him will always, always choose fear over faith. And Kui, remember. But remembering has a price, and this season, someone is going to pay it. Drop your theory in the comments. Who do you think the town will turn against Jade? Because the executioner is already in the cast. We just haven't named them yet. Subscribe. The next episode is going to break the internet.